It's very exciting. We've been waiting a while to play some baseball. It's to have everybody in that room that's going to contribute to us winning was a great way to start the day, and everybody's chomping at the bit to be able to go out there and start seeing some baseball.
You mentioned the other day you want a competitive camp. What does that bring out of guys when you get competition with every drill?
Yeah, I think competition breeds excellence, and anytime you can get guys competing against each other, against themselves, it's just you can get the most out of them. So we're looking forward to making this an extremely competitive camp.
What are some examples of ways? What can you share about ways to make it a competitive game?
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways, and even in just overall language we use with our guys and how we communicate with them and prepare for the day and just make sure that there's a certain level of conviction to how they're going about their day, right? So not even just the drills and things of that nature where you can keep scoring, get them competing against each other, but just the overall mentality of how they're approaching the day.
Oli, have you gotten a read on your veterans, where they stand, how much work they put in, how ready they are for camp?
Yes, I have, and we're excited about it. The guys have been going at it. They've been working hard. To their credit, I mean, they're in a position to start games pretty soon. Our veteran guys, specifically Goldie, came up and he said, "You have nothing to worry about. We're ready to get this thing going." So yeah, everybody that you would expect to, they're doing a nice job. Yeah.
Ollie, you stressed how important communication is for you, having this communication, especially with your veteran guys. What does that do to kind of get the ball rolling for you in camp today?
I think the key to all of this is communication. That's where things kind of go sideways if people feel like they're not getting noticed. It's just setting the expectation of how I'm going to communicate, and that's exactly what we just did in there. What this club can expect from me, and what not to expect from me, and then what I expect from them. So I think the key to all of it is just clearly communicating that.
Did you give a big speech?
Wouldn't label it big speech. I spoke. Yeah.
Like a speech that.
Yeah. No. I just thanked everybody for being in the room. That's going to help us contribute to winning, and then just laid out what my expectations were for the room and what they can hold me accountable to.
For you as a leader, what was that experience like? You've seen a lot of those speeches over the years from numerous skippers. This was your opportunity. What was that experience like?
That's a great question. It was. I enjoyed it. I did, because at the end of the day, just get to be yourself and communicate to a large group of elite people what's important to you, and just set the standard for how we're going to compete as a group. So took advantage of having everybody together, but enjoyed the heck out of it.
Oli, did you sleep any different last night, or are there any butterflies today, or is it just another day?
I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I got zero sleep. Any day.
With these last few months, like, how much have you anticipated that moment and this moment, just to get everyone out there?
Quite a bit. Honestly, quite a bit. It's something I've put a lot of thought into, and just, man, I was really looking forward to having everybody together. We have a special group. We have a great opportunity. There's a lot of clubs that show up today with just optimistic about their season. I will tell you right now, our group is more than optimistic about their season. They're convicted about winning, and that's a big difference. Yeah.
Did you worry at times that you might miss a good chunk of this season? Did you think about that opportunity that would be missed?
No doubt. Yeah, absolutely. We had no idea how this was going to go. I was prepared. Our staff was prepared. I was convinced that our players would be prepared, but we had no idea at what point we were going to get this thing going. So now that we're here, it's fun.
How does that? I mean, you've been around these guys a long time. Now you're in a new role, but you've been around these guys. I mean, you know that each game that may fall off the calendar is one fewer game for Yadier Molina, is one fewer game for Wainwright, maybe one fewer game for Nolan Arenado with a Cardinal. I mean, is that how you think?
Yeah, it was part of it. I mean, more than just that, but that was a part of the equation of, like, man, they're going after something pretty cool here, and every game we lose is less of an opportunity to get that done. But we're just glad to be back. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
How long do you think it'll be before you have live pitching versus live hitting?
About 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get this thing going. Yeah, live BP today. I think we have 10 of them starting at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock.
So every day we're gonna see that.
Every day you're gonna see some balls flying around. Yeah.
Who's throwing today?
Today, we got a total of 10 guys. I believe first guy out is Waino. and then you have I can't think of the full picture. I know Wayno's going first. Yeah, is that enough?
What does he say? I mean, to throw one. I mean, did he say just I'm ready, Skip, or?
No, gosh, no. As soon as we had an opportunity to talk to all of our guys, we were already prepped with what we wanted to provide them in order to get feedback from them and understand where they're at physically. So we did that the evening before we spoke up top, and we had a pretty good idea of how many bullpens guys have thrown, to what intensity, how many pitches, how many times up and down. So it'll be different than normal, where you see everybody kind of at the same pace just because guys aren't at the same spot. So it'll be pretty individualized while we're here, but they're ready.
No issues came up with the physicals?
As of right now, nothing that I have crazy amount of information on. By this afternoon, I'll have more. Yeah.
Might be some issue then?
By this afternoon, yeah, I'll probably have a decent idea of where we're at with the full group. Yeah.
Ollie, what kind of tactics do you use as a manager to ensure that you have effective communication with your staff, especially with the short spring?
Man, it's a great question. We've spent a decent amount of time together, and just laid out what's important to me as the manager, what's important to them as a staff, what they need from me, what I need from them, and just being very a word you're going to hear a ton is honest. Just like, here's just honesty in conversation. I think that's where you get to the root of things. So in our communication style, we're just honest with each other and get everything on the table and make sure that we're on the same page. But it's been a lot of that to make sure that there's nothing we're missing. Yeah.
Ollie, this is Yachty's last training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just put the magnitude of that into words, like what that means to this organization?
I mean, it's Yachty. It means a ton. This guy has helped shape the culture of this place for a long time. When you talk about conviction and style of play, like, that's Yachty. And there's people that walk into a room and get noticed, and then there's people that walk into a room and change the room. Yachty's the type that walks into a room and he changes a room. So a lot of credit goes toward Yachty and the way that he has shaped this organization over the last several years.
How much can he be an ally for you? You know, that guy who's almost like a manager in the locker room, I guess.
I mean, that goes without saying. Yachty's unbelievable behind the plate. He understands the game better than anybody. To not tap into that would be stupid on my part.
For you as a leader, who, if I may ask, in your life, whether it's someone you know or someone you've read about or seen a movie or documentary on, who are some of the leaders that you respect and maybe have picked up some nuggets from over the years?
I'll get back to you on that one because I like the question. I actually really like that question. I'll get back to you on that.
I'll be the short man.
A big part of this team's success over the last few years, defense, fundamentals, running. How much of that, in your view, is established here? Because it's maintained through a season, obviously, and it comes from talent. But how much of that is established over a month of spring training that even now is condemned?
I think it's established here for sure. Yeah, I think you answered it in the way you asked it. Like, it's established here and it's maintained throughout the season. But if you don't place an emphasis on it today, then it just kind of fades away as other things start to come and they start competing in games. It just fizzles away. Players will always find important what the staff and the manager finds important. And if you can't place an emphasis on those things like defense and base running and the just intricacies of the game, then by the time you get to June, you're not playing great baseball.
Is this a spring? Is it Cliff Notes fundamentals, or just because of how short it is?
No, not really. Like, when you look at our fundamental schedule and during the off season, we spend a lot of time just laying out like what are all these days going to look like, and you start to see we want to do this fundamental 4 times, this one 3 times. We want to do this one and progress it to this point. There's a point in the schedule where you're repeating things and adding layers of difficulty to it in order to make it game-like. We'll still get there. I'm not concerned at all with the shortness of spring.
Ollie, the 5 Gold Gloves, how much of a sense of pride is that for the organization to, it reinforces what you're doing in spring training as far as defense?
We're pretty proud of it, but let's get serious. We have some really good defensive players. So credit to them first, and then credit to our coaches that make it important and have a routine for them and stick to it and make sure that they're actually sticking to and holding them accountable to what they want to be held accountable to. So credit to both sides there. Yeah.
Are there any pitchers that are behind schedule?
Behind schedule, so Gio isn't here yet. Cabby's on his way. So we're not sure exactly where they're at yet, so I can't say if they're behind schedule. But they're not present. Yes.
It's an odd question to ask on the first day workout, but do you have a starting pitcher or an idea of who's going to work on Friday? And have you built everything backwards from opening day, or have you gone about that?
We're getting there. We have a pretty good idea of who it'll be, but it's not definitive yet. He hasn't been told. As soon as we tell him, we'll tell you.
Has anybody come to you and said, I want to start the first spring training game?
No, nobody. No. It's open if you want it, though.
Not that it's this guy, but I did want a similar question that John asked about Yadi. When Waino walks through that door today, what is that like, and what does he mean to you?
He means a ton to me. Waino's been a good friend and someone that has, just like Yadi, shaped the culture of what we do here. Not only with our pitchers, with our position players, and the attention to detail. And he's just a teacher. He's really good at it. So he's one of those guys, when he needs to speak, he speaks. And if you just watch him, you understand that he does things different than most. And it's a beautiful thing to watch our young guys sit there and watch them do something as simple as a PFP and realize, and that looks different than the way I do it. The attention to detail is different. He acts like there's actually runners on. Like, there's just this intensity and conviction to his process that is hard to match. And our challenge to that group in there today is match it.
So those are the two guys who aren't here?
Yadi's not here as well.
Okay.
Yeah, 3. Apologize. Yadi, Gio, and
Daddy won't be here tomorrow, or do we know?
we are. I'll talk to Mo at the end of today. As of right now, I know he won't be here today.
Is there any
I'm hoping
particular
to
reason
have
why he would not?
what I have understood up to the moment is just personal.
Okay.
Man, yeah, it's just
The others are travel issues.
the other
Yeah.
2 were travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.